Pochettino, get out!
Rasmus!
Liverpool's what was smoking out there, fucking Emirates.
Absolutely brilliant.
I just still think there's a little bit of immaturity in the celebrations.
He should be sacked tonight!
I will leave the club.
I love it when we send those scousers packing.
From Prue to 2-2 in the last minute, I can't believe it, fam.
Raw, filthy, counter-attacking football.
Humiliation!
Cooked, clean, and ironed better than them.
Right, are you going to tone your voice down or are you going to shout like some dick?
I don't like the word dominate. I don't think that's correct at all.
I don't like the word dominate.
Oh, what have we done?
Alisson.
Liverpool have totally f***ed up. Alisson back.
Oh my God, look at that mistake.
They had more corners than Sully.
Oh my God, Virgil van Dijk.
Get out, Pochettino, tonight!
Virgil's all day. Oh my goodness me. Nah, F off you lot, man.
No. No, fuck off. We literally had the game in the back, like as in like we was dominating the game.
I'm actually more confident now because every time you said we're going to lose a game, we ended up winning it.
Oh no, not Arsenal. Not the team we beat just last month. Oh no, not the team that we beat in the cup when we played a shit 11. And even brought on kids who hadn't played all season for a laugh. And we still beat them. Oh no, not Arsenal, who are having fights between their own squad because they can't deal with Taiwo or Wanty, and now we expect them to pocket Darwin Núñez all game. Oh no, not Arsenal. How will we ever handle Arsenal, Husam?
Oh no!
Welcome back to the Top 6 show. What a crazy weekend of football we just had. And there was literally, I got sent so many videos this week from different fan channels. It was impossible to feature everybody, but some absolute, the maddest bit is Drifty thinking that Liverpool were dominating that game. I don't quite know what planet he was on. I have no idea what he meant with that, but welcome back everybody. And Tom Little,
He's the best.
The football gods heard you.
He's the best.
You got swatted, my friend. You don't give it the big one like that.
Worried, man.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's crazy. But welcome, everybody. Please hit the like button. Please make sure you are subscribing. We've got Egal on the show tonight. We've got man like Konate. We've got George is here. Don is here. Nina, welcome. Making your debut on the football terrace this evening. Rhino was here a moment ago. He's dropped out. I'm sure he'll be back in a few moments. Yes, he is here. Rhino's here repping Manchester United.
Yes.
And the Don Husam will be with us a little bit later on this evening as well. But yeah, crazy weekend. How is everyone? Everyone well? Everyone good?
Blessed. 3 points. Blessed.
Oh yeah, now my people. It's your dark-skinned man from the motherland. If you didn't know before, tonight you go understand. I'm good, bro. Great weekend for me. Nigeria in the semi-finals of AFCON. My ops dropped points, and we just dunked on Liverpool 3-1. I'm good, Terry, man. How are you?
And you're winning the title too, right? You forgot that part.
I'm good, Terry. How are you?
Mate, I'm good. You know, we moved up to 6 in the table. Not bad for a crap team. And Rasmus is scoring goals, and Mainu's making me smile. And yeah, it's great. I'm actually all right. I'm content. Do you know what I mean? I'm content. But we're actually going to start with a bit of Man United. We're going to start off nice and easy tonight with a little bit of Manchester United. Rasmus Hojlund now scoring his goals. Garnacho is starting to look the part. Rhino, like, what did you make of United yesterday, the performance, and the last week or so, really? I'm not saying corners have been turned, but United are starting to look, more potent, scoring more goals, and you can see that reflected in moving up the table.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. I feel like there's definitely a lot more positives to take, Supporting United for the last few months hasn't been easy, let alone years. So I'm still skeptical because, like, I always call United a roll over the dice. You don't know what United's going to turn up, but I can at least admit that throughout the last 3 games, there's been a few consistencies. So, yeah, man, just got to just see what the next game holds. Obviously, when it comes to us losing out on leads and stuff like that, it looks like we've kind of patched it up. When we're going 2-0 up, it's like it's always inevitable that we're going to concede. So I did clearly notice in the last game against West Ham that we set up more, like we was more resolute in the way we set up. It was more cohesive, and there was still a few losses of concentration here and there. If Maguire, that goal that went, when Maguire missed the ball and then they had that attack, if that goal went in, that could have changed the game. But luckily it didn't. So, yeah, there's a lot of positives. The spine is back. We're starting to see a bit more consistent style of play to a degree. We're starting to see something, but I'm still not fully confident. But there's definitely a lot more positives to take. So we just got to see game by game and see how it develops. But in terms of the youngsters, yeah, they're doing their thing as well. They're basically holding us up for now. So, yeah, we just got to go with it and see, man.
It was kind of a mad one yesterday because we probably played better against Wolves, but conceded 3 goals.
Yeah.
And yesterday there was a few hairy moments, but yet we walk away with a 3-0 victory. So if you just look at the scores, we looked better yesterday. But no, I do agree. I'm a bit like that. I'm just enjoying I'm kind of sort of taking it week by week. I'm not getting carried away. I'm enjoying what Rasmus is doing. I'm enjoying what Mainu's doing.
Yeah.
I was enjoying, obviously, Lissandro coming back. It looks like thankfully, they're saying it's not an ACL. It's a strain on a ligament, and it'll be 6 to 8 weeks. It'll be back after the next international break, which is obviously the best we probably could have hoped for after the again, it's innocuous, really. But if we'd have lost him, that would have been quite a painful dent. But the youngsters are really, as ever at Man United, the young players turning up, the young players delivering, and I think some of the older guys can take note from that. In terms of I'll to panel this as rivals. In terms of Man United winning some points, they're only a handful away from the top 5 now. There's still a lot of speculation as to whether or not top 5 will be enough for a Champions League spot. Could you see United putting on a late push for a Champions League position, or do you think it's too much, too little, too late?
You're in the perfect situation, Terry, because no one is putting pressure on you guys to do anything. But at the same time, you guys are kind of being forgotten in a good way, because it's like in a situation where you can creep up on people and maybe potentially take that spot. But even if you don't, you're not expected to. What you should take away from these past couple performances is that you have a little bit of bright spark in your team with Garnacho, Kobe Mainoo, and of course your young striker that you guys signed in the summer, Rasmus Hojlund. They could definitely pick up more form later half of the season, and then from there you can push on going forward for the future. And as we were talking about just a couple of weeks ago, Terry, it seemed everything was doom and gloom at Manchester United. You were talking about how you guys were as bad as Chelsea, and now a couple wins on the bounce, and it looks like you have a brighter future than Chelsea.
In fairness, I did say to Don even months ago, we're not as bad as Chelsea. I've said that all season. I've been pretty
but Terry, when
we literally just caught up with you guys, and then we
you know what it is? For me, it's different.
Guys,
Egal, for me, it's different. I've always personally thought we've been worse than Chelsea in terms of how we play, like what we're seeing in the pitch.
That's true. Nah. I'm talking about situations where you guys find yourself this season. People always kept saying, no matter what, Chelsea have been playing better than you. They're going to find themselves in a better situation come the end of the season. And now it looks like you guys are going to find yourself in a better situation.
Look. The thing is, my auntie always told me that it's my smile that gets me in trouble. When I'm saying things with a smile, people don't believe me. They think I'm trolling. I've been saying this. Ten Hag, he's earned the right to get to the end of the season. What he did last season with that Man U squad, I didn't think was possible. Won a trophy and finished 3rd place. So he's earned the right to at least let him get a body of work to the end of the season. And then we decide, is he the guy or is he not the guy? So this run of games, he's got some players fit again. You guys have got a stronger looking midfield with Mainoo. I didn't see what everyone was hyping up about in the summer, but I'm seeing it. He's really doing his thing. So can they get top 4? I think top 4 might be a bit out of the reach, but top 5 is not impossible. Top 5 is not impossible.
I want to ask you a question, George. And I get why you've done it. You've been very, very skeptical, is probably the nice way of putting it, of the talent ID of Erik ten Hag. What are your thoughts on his purchase now of Rasmus Hojlund?
Hasn't changed, to be honest. Hojlund's still got a lot to prove. He's had some decent performances. Probably the past month, I'd say, from what I've seen of him, he's looked better. He's looked a bit settled. I'd say your team's finding him more, making him more of a focal point of your attack. Because at the start of the season, I feel like Rashford, Garnacho, and some of the other players were just airing him more than anything. Just literally, he was through on goal quite a few times, and they would just be a bit more selfish. But my thoughts won't really change on someone's talent idea until I actually see him push him as a player, prove that he's a top player. Because what Hojlund's doing this season is pretty much what he was doing last season in the Serie A. Like he scored a few goals here and there. What did he get? Like 10 goals last season. Like
9 goals in all comps last season. He's on 10 now. Like just over halfway through.
Yeah. And what is it? 4 Premier League goals.
So it's not the same then, George, is it? It's already better, no?
It's pretty. Again, I said it's pretty much.
We're halfway through the season,
also,
George.
And wait, just to throw a fact out there. Also, top goal scorer currently in the Champions League.
It's facts. It's facts.
The Champions League. Terry. The only reason why the Champions League one is like I generally brush out of my mind is because for one, you guys are knocked out of the Champions League, so and that doesn't discount his goals. You're right; he still scored goals in those games.
Yes.
But a lot of those games he scored in were losses, and.
But he done his job, though. He done his job.
Again, he done his job, but clearly not enough.
Yeah, but what about his goal against Newport? What about that?
I'm not gonna. Again, I ain't gonna take nothing away from him though, because I have been impressed with how he's played recently.
Shameless.
He's got a bit better, but I ain't gonna take nothing I've said back on Ten Hag, because there's a lot of other signings that still aren't looking good.
I know.
Look better.
Okay, I'm just asking about the player.
One at a time. We're talking about Erasmus right now.
Your point of view, Man United, some of the progression in the last few weeks. Do you see this as a bit of a flash in the pan, a little bit of a purple patch, or do you think maybe with the new ownership, some of the new standards, some of the discipline that's gone on recently, maybe the penny's finally starting to drop with some individuals?
I think that you guys go through stages like this throughout the season. I generally do. I feel like you go through stages where you pick up a few wins, where it's like 2-3 wins on the bounce. You start to look better, and then things change again, and you do a drop a game, or you lose. So I do think that something has changed mentality-wise. There may be a change in the back, and the players may be a bit more up for it. But again, I still feel like we need a longer period of time. See, let's see how you get on the next 2 or 3 games, for example.
Yeah.
See if you're picking up points in those, because I feel like in November we had a period of games where Man United was like unbeaten for 5 games. You had the best form in the league, and people obviously they weren't saying you're going to do anything with that, but that's what you would. You had 5-game period where you look really good, and then 5 games after that you look really poor. So like it's good momentum for you guys to build up. Recently been good, but we need to see it more consistently for anyone. For me personally,
but George, sorry to cut you off as well. Do you know what's a bit different though? And don't get it twisted. I'm not. Listen, from November I checked out with Ten Hag in it, but I'm considering building my faith back in him. But what it is, I'm starting to see a little bit more better performances. So I think that's what it is. I think in that context, does it look like there's a bit of a turnaround? I think that's what Terry means, and I think maybe, but like you said, even though there's better performances, I'm still a bit. I've got PTSD, man. This club, listen, this club stresses me.
You're skeptical. You're skeptical. And rightly so, because he showed you more bad than good. It's gonna take a long time for you to start to get confident in your team again, which is where me and Nina are. You know what I
mean? Nina, how do you see things with Man United right now? Is it about taking it game by game, or do you think United fans have got cause to be more optimistic?
I agree with the point that your performances have been better. And I actually think that you are where you are now in the league because you still, even with bad performances, still grinded out results last year towards the end. Like there were still games where you somehow managed to get through. And that's where we're separated. You know, you said Chelsea, Man United, but Chelsea has walked away in many games where we've had good performances, but the results just haven't been there. You know, it's no coincidence that arguably our 2 best games this season have both been draws. That tells you everything you need to know. Man United have been the exact opposite almost. They've almost just walked away with that point at the end of the day. Kobe Mainoo, another player that sort of made that difference for you, had that game was it 3-1 up to Wolves before they equalised? It was 3-3. You had that player to make the difference, to walk away with 3 points. But again, you're talking about a very negative game if that hadn't gone that way. Newport, another example where you were almost sort of pinned and then came out again, grinded out a result. So I feel like that's changed. But now that you've got good performances, there's been certain players that have stepped up as well, individual moments of brilliance, but more players playing good consistently as opposed to some players having good moments and then obviously nobody else turning up. I think now you're having a lot more players that are basically turning up. But again, I agree on the point that we've got to see some consistency with you. I feel like the same point stands as Chelsea, that, you know, we go through moments where we see a 2-3 winning streak and then we hit straight back to reality. And yeah, but I mean, judging by the game when we came to Old Trafford, Ten Hag's job was pretty much on the line that game. And, you know, we made you guys look so good in that game. And then you had a couple losses. Champions League obviously didn't go your way, knocked out. And I almost think that's every more reason to focus on the league right now. Obviously still in the FA Cup as well. But, you know, you've got all the time to focus on that and, you know, secure potentially top 6 spot. Yeah.
I completely agree. And I think that I'm happy with the results recently. I really was intrigued in the panel's thoughts on this. I think United fans should be happy with winning always. But I've had a lot of people that I've checked out with Ten Hag. I don't know if he's the guy really to take us forward with Ineos when they're fully ratified and everything else. A lot of people, we won these games. You know, the turnaround has begun. And I think that we've got to just keep our powder a little drier, be more open-minded, because we haven't turned the corner yet. As I say, West Ham, I'm really happy we won. The attackers were really good. There's some really good individual performances. But we conceded too many opportunities. Against Wolves, up until the 85th minute, it was our best performance for me of the season. We barely conceded a chance. We defended well, we controlled the game. But then within the space of 7 minutes, we were suddenly at 3-3. And you're thinking to yourself, how the hell has this happened again? And we did that in about 3 of our Champions League games where we were cruising and playing well. And we ended up losing games. And that, for me, can't be ignored, because being a team that finishes in the top 6, top 5, top 4 is not good enough when you invest the amount of money that we do, when you pay the wages we do. We have to be looking towards being a team that can win Premier Leagues. And we've seen what Arsenal did this weekend, which we'll get onto later, where they nullified one of the best teams in the world in Liverpool to almost nothing. They did it to Man City earlier on in the season. And no disrespect to Ten Hag, and I know he hasn't been at the club as long as Arteta, are we really going to do that at home to Liverpool or City, that nullify them to that level? That's when, for me, I'll feel like United are on their way to being back, when we can actually have those performances. So I think we should be happy with some individuals and the results, but we've got to keep putting that pressure on to improve. For me, I agree completely.
I think it's difficult to compare Arteta's situation to Ten Hag's situation. It's his second season. And when it comes to your team, Terry, not every single year is going to be just that upward trajectory. There's going to be times where maybe you take a step back because of injuries or other scenarios. You're missing one of your best players from last season for a large portion of the season, and nobody's really speaking about it also.
Yeah, I understand that. I think for me, the difference was when Arteta came in, a lot of the backroom staff and a lot of the hierarchy changed all at the same time. Ten Hag has come in and done 18 months with the people that we wanted out of this football club. And I feel that some of their rotten, toxic nastiness is on him. Some of that stink is on him. And in all, I'm not just trying to be harsh to him. I think removing him will help. I think removing him will help in terms of pushing us further forward. But I do see the arguments for keeping him as well. And I do agree. He probably, even in my angry moments, I probably said go now. But in reality, when I'm calm, keeping him until the end of the season, considering Ineos are not even ratified yet as the new part owners, probably makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, do you know what it is, Terry? For me, yeah, it's just the fundamentals, man. Like, a lot of people are saying, oh, look, he's got the style of play. He's starting to show consistencies. Even when we were bad and we lost, there was something there. But he just needs to start getting the fundamentals right. Get the lineup right. Pick the right players. The in-game management. We want to see what last season his in-game management was quite good. I think we were top 3 for most substitute scoring goals and stuff like that. So if you can get the lineups right, in-game management is good, and he can start dealing in the press conference as well. I think his communication with players as well, and the way he deals with certain things is not perfect, which might not change because obviously his language barrier and stuff like that. But yeah, we just need to see the fundamentals consistently, and then I'll be happy. If we played like how we played against Wolves for the first half, at least we controlled the game, and then we won 3-0. Like, if we did that against West Ham, I'll be a bit more confident. But the fact is, we had, 40% possession in that first half, and then we still scored 2 goals. You know what I mean? It was a bit shaky. It wasn't convincing. Yeah, so
I hear you, Rhino.
Yeah.
This here from Tony says his goals were in games they lost. Said the Tottenham fan. I guess Harry Kane's goals were irrelevant too.
I mean, he scored most of our wins, but it makes sense.
This here says that Said's panel calling Erik ten Hag a liar over Sancho is a definition of low IQ. Basic analysis. He has factual, documented training issues at all his clubs. Look, I don't know what was said on Said's show, so I'm not going to sit here and say that people have got low IQ and basic analysis because I didn't watch it. Look, the situation was handled wrong. Do I think that Sancho has some problems at the club? Yeah, I don't think Ten Hag has lied that the player. I don't believe that Sancho was the hardest working, best in training, and the manager just picked on him. I think that's a nonsense.
And the same club, Terry, as well, that apparently said he's bad at training, took him back on loan. So you have to factor in all these things.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, I don't think it's as clear cut as anyone makes it out to be. Equally, the manager should not have made it public. The manager shouldn't have done what he did. The club shouldn't have leaked information afterwards about him and continued to badmouth him. So there's been good on some, there's been bad on both sides, in my personal opinion. And I don't know kind of why that's come up now. We're not really talking about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm on the panel in it, so he's probably just.
Oh right,
yeah.
Okay.
I'm on the panel as well, I know he's not talking about me because normally I'm quite in the middle. I'm quite reserved and like my judgment's not over the top. I'm not emotional, but I feel like certain people just pick a certain side, and when you don't agree with them, they just say you got low IQ. So
yeah, and it works both ways because there are people that are like, oh, Ten Hag will never drop Anthony because he's like one of his favorites. Or Garnacho, he's been dropped for Garnacho. So there's elements of truth on both sides, but people are too polarized nowadays. It's crazy. Rasmus is joint top with Morata. Need I say more? So because Morata's also scored a lot of goals, that means that Rasmus's goals are worth less. So what does that mean about everyone who scored less goals than them this year? So then no one's got. So Saka's Champions League goals are worth nothing because he has less than Morata. Think of the precedent you're setting here. Come on, remember, like cheap banter, you always end up hurting your own club. You've just basically said Saka's goals in the Champions League are dog shit. Why would you do that? Come on, bruv. Be better. Come on, kids. I ain't how you banter. You youngsters, man. I tell you. Hit the like button, people. Make sure you're subscribing and give the bell notification button a slap as well. Before we move on to Chelsea, Spurs, I think it's kind of gone under the radar because yesterday was such a madness of a day, but you guys bottled it.
Done it again. 90th minute. How many times?
George?
How many times?
You know what? It's definitely a problem that we're facing this season with the late last minute goals. I mean, I saw the stat that we've conceded the most goals past the 90th minute in the league this year, and I think it's like 8 goals or 7 goals.
8 goals, yeah.
Yeah. Which is it's nuts.
That's
like
crazy.
It's something that we've known, and as Tottenham fans, like when we watch the games, you can see just the level of our intensity drops heavily after the 75th, 80th minute. Like that's when the teams just sort of lost it, that we lose control of the games. That's when the other team starts to take control, doing these long balls, starts to win set pieces. We start giving away corners.
Is that a tactical thing, George? Or is it?
No, that's just an issue with the squad. I mean, we haven't really got the depth to bring other players on to replace the quality that we already have on the pitch. And piling that on top of the fact that you've got a lot of players coming
manager, surely.
Well, I'm explaining it. If you let me finish, Egal, you'd understand what the reason is. But piling that on top of the fact that we have a lot of players coming back from injury, the likes of Maddison, Van de Ven, Bentancur, players that aren't fully fit, can't really play the full 90. We get leggy. It's definitely something that the manager has to address. I think it won't be as much of an issue when we have a bigger squad and you can bring, when you ain't got Skip, Gill, and 5 other academy players that you've got to bring on to try and change up the game, and you've got actual good players coming on, then it won't be so much of an issue. But yeah, it's definitely a problem at the moment. It's something that we've noticed for a long time. Our performances, we lack control in the last 20 minutes. But apart from that, I mean, Everton, it was a tough game. I'm not going to sit here and act like we deserved to win. We didn't pop Everton. We didn't play them off the park.
Good game.
I felt like we played pretty poorly considering comparing to some of our other performances. Everton defended well. Richarlison done his thing though, man. Richie with the double, that second finish, I was surprised as anyone. I was like, this guy can whip it now. Like
serious one.
serious finish. So
Maddison's assist was good as well, man.
That's what I mean. So he's starting to pick up form. That's one of the positives that I'll take from the game is Richarlison.
It wasn't enough, was it?
Wasn't
enough.
That's what I was going to say. You still drew, so was it enough?
To say all his positives.
You know what?
There it is.
Let me touch on that.
What is funny? What is funny?
Can I say why I'm laughing? Because you said it's positive, but you still drew. So I feel like, you know what I mean?
There's two major negatives you didn't touch on. Let me touch on it. Because you're a Tottenham fan, you want to stay positive. I get it. Let me be the one.
I didn't even. Again, Egal, you can go in a second. Just give it a second.
Okay, you want to get on the negatives too, so we don't get. So don't.
I already touched on some of the negatives, but you didn't let me get there. You're just you're jumpy. You're waiting.
Okay.
Like an excited.
You're taking time, man. Come on.
You'd think that Tottenham dropped like 3 points this weekend. We still picked up a point.
Nah, you dropped two. You dropped two.
I said we picked up a point. I never said we dropped a point.
Oh, so nowadays.
No, I'm saying you didn't drop 3. You dropped 2. That's what I'm saying. I'm just clearing it up.
You don't think you dropped points there?
You dropped 2 points. You didn't pick up 1 point.
You didn't pick up a point, bro. You didn't score in the 90th minute. You conceded.
Man said he picked up a point from a winning position. How can you pick up a point from a winning position? Tell me.
No, it's not, bro. You were winning the game and you bottled the lead.
I said, wait, no, Don. Us picking up a point and us dropping 2 points is the exact same thing. You just
no. There's a big
difference. In this context, not in this context. You're moving the context.
I started.
Bro, we've all done sales here, mate. We know it. Manipulating words here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, bro? You know what you were doing there, George. It was good though. Like, unfortunately for you, we picked up on it, innit? That's the only unfortunate situation here. So you tried it and you got called out.
We picked up on it just like they picked up the point.
George came in it like a double glazing salesman. Do you know what I'm saying? It's all
what I said simply was that we played bad. I never sat here and said, I said we didn't deserve the win. We didn't play like we deserved the win. And you guys are still like trying to pick out the points. Or you said you picked up 1 point. Egal, go. You want to say your go?
If I'm not mistaken, guys, Tottenham are a better team than Everton. If I'm not mistaken, Tottenham are not the team that is. Are they not trying to get top 4? And they're talking about picking up 1 point against Everton? What are we doing here? You guys got Vicario, who's one of the best goalkeepers in the league.
You were going to come with the negatives.
One second. You guys got one of the best goalkeepers in the league so far this season, but it's starting to look like he's been found out. A couple back-to-back games where it's looking like, oh, Vicario has a weakness, and people are playing to that weakness. When it comes to corners, he's looking soft. He's looking a little bit skinny. He's looking a little bit like he's not used to the Premier League. Because when people are going up for corners, yes, one couple times you might get fouled, but not every single time just flop on the floor and think you're going to get the call. Come on, you got to be a big boy in there. David De Gea is one of the best goalkeepers we've seen over the last 10 years. He started off the same way, so I'm not writing him off. I'm just simply saying he needs to improve.
I mean,
at this moment in time, he's costing you guys. He's costing you guys these goals. And you want to know the next thing is? Ange Postecoglou. Amazing job so far at Tottenham this season. You got to give him the utmost respect. But in that game, he cost you guys with those substitutions. He took off his 2 most controlling in the possession and the people who retained the ball the most.
Wait, what players
in that game? With Hojlund and Maddison coming off.
Okay. And why? Wait, Egal. Answer the question. No, I don't care. But why did
I'm speaking. How you
okay? No, but hey, Egal, don't let him ask you any questions. He got 3 points. You got 1 point. Calm down, George. Egal, continue. Sorry.
Not how it works.
No question.
You're sitting here saying Maddison came off.
Why did Maddison?
George, all we want from you is answers, bro. All we want from you is answers, bro. No questions.
Substitutions directly led to you guys being under pressure. With Hojlund and Maddison coming off, you could not retain possession. You could not hold on to the ball. You brought on an extra defender and an extra winger, and you only added 1 more midfielder. So in that situation, you're telling me you're going to have more possession with 1 less midfielder on the pitch? No. Everything kept going, and eventually they got the goal that they needed. And that's due to your manager's mistake with the substitution. So you can talk about your rotations, you can talk about injuries, you can talk about everything else, but 2 people directly cost you in that game. It's your goalkeeper being soft at corners and your manager not trusting that these players could keep the game going. And he then changed it, went defensive, and it didn't work.
Clearly,
Clearly,
you didn't listen or you missed something the first time.
No, you never said any of those points, to be fair.
The reason why the players like Maddison, Bentancur had to come off the pitch because they've just come back from injury. Maddison specifically has just come back
another midfielder
within the past 14 days. He just come back from injury. He's played his first game. So now he's in a position where he can't complete 90 minutes. For him to go and complete 90 minutes is him risking another injury. Our manager's not going to do that, especially when we're in the lead. Yes, 2-1 up. We'd lost control of the game. Didn't have as much control. We wasn't playing great. But 2-1 up, 15 or 10 minutes to go, we can't risk another Maddison injury. He's our most important player in our team. We had to take him off. That answers one question. Vicario, I think all this talk about Vicario is his fault. He's being a bit... For one, don't throw stones when you have a glass house. David Wright doesn't know how to defend crosses in the first place.
Don't deflect.
He couldn't catch the ball.
When there's a crack being thrown,
he can't catch the ball. I go.
Don't deflect. No.
Don't do that when you have David Wright goal.
This is the Tottenham segment, George. This is the Tottenham segment. Let's stay on topic here.
They start deflecting. They start being.
Egal, just don't allow it.
Egal, we get it. So again,
the Spurs segment.
George,
no Arsenal talk here, bro.
We're talking about Spurs.
You like deflecting as well, Egal. You like
deflecting. Compare Vicario to Alisson. Now, when he's being held to that standard, you want to.
Okay, so wait. I will wait. The thing is, Egal, we will still compare him because look what happened to Alisson yesterday. What you want about? Your point is invalid. You're just doing stupidness now. You're trying to do these agendas that don't work.
This is not an agenda. Your goalkeeper. You guys know consistently.
A top goalkeeper is a top goalkeeper. We saw you just mentioned Alisson.
He's a good shot stopper, but he's weak.
Egal, you just mentioned Alisson. You just mentioned Alisson. After Alisson's performance yesterday, you're using him as the benchmark for a top goalkeeper. You're not going to come here.
Yesterday for you. He's still one of the best.
Stop for a second. You're not going to come here and mention him as the benchmark after he made 2 mistakes and then say, "Oh, Vicario is a bitch because he didn't push the." He's been the best goalkeeper in the league this season. That's facts. That is facts. He's been the best goalkeeper.
He can't be held to that standard because he's a Spurs player, I guess.
What has done wrong? What went wrong with the corners? That's a defending issue. That's an issue you look at the defenders with. I look at the way that we defend, and that's a defensive issue that Ange needs to address. There's no way, as this is basic principles of football. If you have someone marking your goalkeeper, as a defender, as someone who's gonna man your own box, you would go get him off the goalkeeper. Get him off the
George, but do you know what, George? Hold on, real quick, Egal.
I need to address one point.
Wait, sorry, no, Kunle and Egal, let me finish, bro. Both of you love to talk. You'll get your time.
You can't take a break.
Egal, second
break. Let George finish, and then we'll go back to you boys, please. Let's go
again. So this is a defensive issue. I don't know, like this is something that I look at. You can look at a Vicario and make it about him. I've made it about our defenders. I'm not going to put the blame on the goalkeeper because when the goalkeeper does start to push, does start to call fouls, then people are going to look at the goalkeeper and say, why is he giving away fouls on corners in his own box? And then that's going to be in his issue. But there's easier ways to prevent that from happening. What happened, those goals? And as we saw in the Man City game, it should have been addressed from then. It should have been addressed that no one should be allowed to stand on our goalkeeper. But I'm not going to sit here and blame the goalkeeper for that happening. That's a defensive problem.
Why was the goalkeeper standing behind the line of the goal when the goal went in? Like, that's what I want to know.
Why is he on the floor?
Like, why is your keeper behind the goal for the? Like, why is that?
George, you can't lie. Listen, that's a big weakness in his game. Clearly,
why is there bare silence, George? We asked a clear question. You love to talk. You're not talking now.
Hold on, George. Egal's got a fair point. Egal's got a fair point.
All their players on a pedestal, but when they're being held to that standard and being criticized, they want to say it's the team. Is he one of the best? And he has to be able to compete and continue to show that level, even when it's against Everton and he's being bullied. He needs to find a way to get through that game. Guess what? This is the Premier League. It's not Italy. It's a situation where if those fouls are going to happen more often...
What's your point then? What's your point?
My point is he's been slightly found out. This is a weakness in his game. He needs to improve it. It's not a team issue. It's a Vicario issue.
He's still a good keeper, though. He's still a good keeper.
He's still a great keeper. He's a great shot stopper. When it comes to corners...
Guys, I mean, just jump in because it's getting a little bit hectic. I understand your point, the goalkeeper, he's not particularly good at it, but wouldn't you look at your team, and I'll throw this to Nino, would you not expect his defenders, if they know he's a little bit fragile on that, to stand in front of him, protect him, and to stop that? Or do you think that the Arsenal boys have got a point that the goalie's got to be stronger in that circumstance?
I mean, yeah, there's only so much a goalie can do, and I don't actually agree on the point that he's not good at collecting crosses. Is that the point that you made? I'd actually argue that he is quite good. What did you say that he wasn't good at?
He's not good at managing the box when he's in the corner. People are easy to pulley him and push him
Yeah,
around.
but that's where the defenders come in and help. No, they've got to demand their own positions. The goalkeeper can't do that all.
Fair enough.
And Everton set pieces,
over
they're
the
dangerous,
last
bro. They're all
couple
like
games,
6 foot plus.
over the last couple games, you can call it, if you want to call it a team issue, fair enough. But when it comes to him, he's shown it. He's conceded 3 or 4 goals from that directly this season.
Goals. It's just Man City and this game because you can only name those.
The Everton game, didn't he concede 2 like that?
He conceded 1 goal like that. We only conceded 2 goals from Everton, and the second goal was Romero's flick on that put them through on goal.
I think I was getting confused.
One hell of a flick on
every
that,
time they had corners, they were sticking it on him, and he wasn't looking comfortable. Let's be real about it. He wasn't looking comfortable.
But there was also plenty of times that he managed to get himself out of those positions and won the cross, catching the cross.
I agree with what I hear what both of you are saying. Yes, defenders should help him, but at the same time, he can be a little bit stronger as a keeper. But listen, it's a weakness in his game, but he's got a lot of strengths as well. I think he's a good keeper, man.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I said it's a bit shallow to scrutinize him just on that point when he's arguably been one of the best keepers.
No, but that's why I'm saying he's been found out. Because when you have a weakness, people play to it.
Yeah, but saying he's been found out.
One second. When you have when I say this,
agenda on Vicario now.
That's a bit extreme, I won't lie.
My point is,
why that's extreme is this, right? You know, this season, like Saka's had some poor performances. People showing him on the inside. Does that mean he's been found out as a footballer?
That's what everyone's saying. Am I wrong?
No. Forget what other people say.
What does found out mean? What does found out?
What I mean by that is you need to change your way. People figured out this is one of your
way.
When you have a weakness, people are gonna play to it. You've been found out. Doesn't mean you're a shit player. It just means you've been found out that you have this weakness.
Okay. I mean,
how many times has he been exposed?
And it's how you react to it. Is that what you're trying to say, Egal? How you react to them finding out his weakness.
I don't know if you watched the Everton game, but the whole entire Everton game, every time they had a corner, they were trying to put it on him.
The Man City game,
they got a goal from that. That was the goal that got them through in the FA Cup.
If you did watch the game, Egal, you would know that they didn't do it in the second half. They started off the game doing it 3 or 4 times, and then even the commentators picked up. Why did they not continue to do that? They didn't continue to do it because they know that they keep doing it. They're at chance of giving away a foul, and when they do potentially score a goal, it's gonna be taken off because they're pushing the goalkeeper. And it's gonna force the refs to give away a foul at one point. But at the moment, the refs aren't gonna call those because they're too tight. That's all it is.
Hey, Vicario needs to improve. Not an issue. You can just admit that at least. Just admit it. Listen, there's no problem.
Let me just say something, yeah. If he needs to improve to this extent, I don't know what Raya needs to do, to be honest with you. If he needs to improve to this extent.
Hey, this conversation has nothing to do with Raya, Don. How about that?
I'm going to mention him because Vicario is...
Why? This ain't Arsenal segment yet, bro. This ain't Arsenal segment. We don't need Raya.
There's nothing wrong with saying a player needs to improve in one category.
My point,
I'm not calling him shit.
But you're going too extreme with it, bro.
You guys just love protecting. You guys love protecting players that have nothing to do with Arsenal. I'm not talking about Arsenal.
Wait, hold on, Egal, 1 second. Hey, Don. Egal wasn't saying that Vicario is now rubbish. Like, for example, a lot of people said Robin has been found out that he can. Hold on. Robin has been found out. Can I land? Hold on. Robin got found out that he only uses his left foot, but he found a way to master that technique, and it wasn't an issue for him. So that Vicario has this flaw, he's trying to say, and he needs to figure out a way out of it. Is that not what you're saying, Egal, or am I mistaken?
Yeah.
But wait,
why are we going crazy about it? That's not.
But would you not, if you're gonna say something like that and say that he's been found out, you would need more than just 2 goals in a couple games to say he's been found out. He's been found out.
Okay, so
you'd say at least no.
We'll pick this back up again. We can see another 3 more goals like that.
You could have spoke just before when Kunle was trying to.
No. We can pick this back up in a couple weeks. We're talking today.
Yeah, we're gonna move on from this one and go to some super chats here. This one here,
main event
from Docs and Coffee. I'm waiting for Sam. But Sam said, "Don't start Chelsea until I arrive," and I'm still waiting for this dude to turn up. So hurry up, Sam, if you're listening, because I want to start it. He says, "Who gives an F chicken balls?" Don't understand that. Maybe I've misread it. But Arsenal are real swagger. That's an interesting way of writing it. Spurs are Spurs. Did UOKU Joel. I don't know.
He's a basketball player.
Ah, okay. I don't know. I don't watch netball. Threw down career high 70 points for Philly. You can't if you can't hurt people in a sport, it's not really for me. Like, do you know what I mean? You can't touch in basketball, can you? Turns out that he's a gooner, and they were playing. No points for guessing. Spurs.
Don't have a clue.
He basically scored 70 points against the San Antonio Spurs, and he's a gooner. That's the
get it. Thank you, bro. Listen, it's honestly basketball goes right over my head. The reason I don't really like it is because I'm only 5'10", and yeah, that's it. I'm little. That's all it really is. Spurs fans, mental gymnastics is gold medal caliber.
100.
Spurs do score goals, but they are letting in and conceding too many. They shouldn't get so excited.
No, let them get excited. They were terrible last year.
But you know,
let them get excited. This is their level.
Yeah, you won your point at Goodison, bro. You were ecstatic about it.
Picked up a point, but yeah.
African Cat says, I don't understand fans of other teams that hate Liverpool. Without Liverpool, City would be running away with the Premier League all the time. Not even Arteta can stop him. I mean, once more. That's all it'd be.
This is their last chance.
Let's have it right. And like once more. I mean, yeah.
1 second. Why do you think people are going to like Liverpool when Manchester United are their biggest rivals? City were in a title race with them for the longest time. Chelsea and Liverpool hate each other. The only people who don't mind them is probably Tottenham and Arsenal, but they have their own beef with Tottenham.
They have a beef with Tottenham. Oh, is that the Harry Kane diving stuff?
That's a Husam thing. That's a
it's the VAR.
That's this year with the goal that was given.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember Liverpool fans not liking when Harry Kane claimed. Remember he claimed that goal that he didn't get. Liverpool fans hated that. Oh, Mo Salah must have been up for the golden boot.
The only people who don't dislike Liverpool is probably Arsenal fans.
There we go. Viewers, make sure like buttons are hit. We are going to start the Chelsea segment just in the interest of time, really. I'm not too sure where Husam is, but I'm going to go to Nina first. Obviously, a really poor weekend from Chelsea's point of view. The first time since 1975 that Wolves did the double. First time since 75 since Wolves did the double. First time since 1979 they've beaten you in the league at Stamford Bridge. Conceded 4 back-to-back defeats in 11th place. Is this I've seen so many debates about this online. Is it the players? Is it the ownership? Is it the manager? What's going wrong at Chelsea and how do you fix this crisis? Is it about sacking your manager? Is that something you have to do?
Poor week, Terry. It's been a poor year and a half. poor weekend. No. Look, where do I begin? I think to answer your questions, it's everything. It's all of those things. I blame the top first. I blame ownership, recruitment, sporting directors. Then you can look at the manager. Then you can look at the players. For me, that's the order it goes in because who appointed Pochettino? The sporting directors and the owners. Yeah, Pochettino, I'm now starting to see what Don's been telling me this whole time. He isn't a good tactical coach. I don't know who said it earlier that he's a good tactical coach, but I don't think that. If I look back at all our games, all I see is freestyle in Chelsea's games, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I can't honestly tell you how we set up and what tactical intent there is on the pitch. What are our patterns of play? What is our vision moving forward? What do we do on the ball? What do we do off the ball? I honestly couldn't tell you. It's freestyle every game. The setup's different. The starting 11 has never been consistent. He arguably doesn't really have a starting 11, you can say. And yeah, that comes down to injuries as well. But frankly, I also think some of the players aren't good enough. And that's on recruitment. You can't bring in a million young players. They're all potential. They're all question marks. How can you possibly build a squad that's fighting to get back into Europe with a bunch of potentials and question marks? What are the odds that most of these players will turn out good? I just think that they sacrificed the present day. They sacrificed Europe for a couple seasons to work on this so-called project, but you don't know if it's going to prosper in another couple years. And frankly, sorry, entitled or not, we're not really going to sit around and wait for that. Okay, 1 season out of Europe, 2nd season out, but frankly, it's not good enough. That's not what our club has been about in the last 20 years. And, it's not good enough. We said, okay, we're out of Europe. We'll focus on the league. Well, that's not going very well, is it? But I just think that firstly, Pochettino was set up to fail big time. And secondly, he just hasn't helped himself, because I still think that this squad shouldn't be 11th, you know, regardless of how young they are, how inexperienced they are. I still think that there's so much more that you could have done. And he hasn't made it easy. Like, Don will agree, he's played so many players out their positions. He's played centre-backs at full-backs. Yes, I know they've been injured for the majority of the season, but, you know, Ian Maatson was a left-back. Yeah, okay, he wasn't physical. He probably wouldn't have dealt well with the Prem's wingers, but he's still a left-back. But he'd rather start a centre-back that's basically young and inexperienced, like Levi Colwill. Yeah, he's a good player, but he's not a left-back, and he's still not the best centre-back he can be. So how is he already meant to, you know, cope with that? And then obviously Malo Gusto, I think he's been well, but he also started ahead of Ian Maatson, didn't he, Don? Like, the first game that Maatson played was as a winger when he started. And I just think Poch
killed him. He set him up to fail, bro.
He has set him up to fail. And that's why I think we haven't seen the best of Levi Colwill. You know, why did Liverpool claw for him last summer? They even wanted him this January. He's a bright, talented player. You know, he was so good for Brighton. But I just think Poch doesn't really know what to do with these players. And I think it's going to come to a point where they don't really believe that we're headed in the right direction. And yeah, but I look upstairs. This is why I've been Pochettino in probably later than, or for longer than other fans have been, because I just look at upstairs. I think if you got one appointment wrong, you know, you sacked Tuchel, there was never really a plan B to that. They just wanted to erase everything that was left of Abramovich, start a clean slate. Nobody from the club that was the old regime, you know, start from a clean slate, do everything their own way, but they didn't know what they were doing. Todd Bowley, when has he ever, you know, run a football club, owns a football club, yet he's starting to look around for managers and knows who the best manager is going to be for this project? Like, none of it makes sense. And then, okay, he put his hands up, got it wrong with Graham Potter, but then what was the best next thing to do? Yeah, let's bring in Frank Lampard. He's going to be great. The fans are going to love him. Buy ourselves some time to bring the right manager in. But yeah, I mean, I was fooled too. I can't say I didn't want Pochettino. I liked what he was about. Tottenham or not, I didn't really care about that, because, you know, at the end of the day, he's got a good reputation for working with young players, but at the moment, he's not living up to that at all. So, yeah.
A fantastic breakdown, in my opinion, because it is multi-layered. Of course it is. It isn't just, you know, and I wanted to throw this stat out there before everyone else jumps in and gives their opinion. And where Poch has got to take a chunk of the blame, there's no doubt. But this stat came out today that shows 23 games played by Potter versus 23 games that's been played by Poch. One, you know, Potter got an additional point. He didn't have any preseason, didn't get any of his own sort of players. And this isn't a defense of Poch in any capacity, but it demonstrates a deep-rooted problem that currently exists at Chelsea, that it hasn't really improved at all, Don. The football may have looked a little prettier, but in the end of the day, you've been in this situation for 18 months with no real movement forward after investing the best part of £1 billion.
Yeah, it hasn't got any better, man. And listen, everything that Nina said, I've been saying the exact same thing. You know, there's not one person to blame. Everyone takes blame here. The ownership, you know, the players, like I said, and Poch as well. I don't know why you're pulling those faces, Kunde, because I've been saying the same thing consistently, right? Just because you don't think that we haven't got good players in this team doesn't mean I should agree with you. Because yesterday, we had Nkuku on the pitch. We had Palmer on the pitch. We had Enzo on the pitch. We had Caicedo on the pitch. And like Nina's saying, I'm still not seeing no patterns of play. I'm looking at a team that just looked lost. You know, a team that is lacking ideas, a team that's just trying to freestyle. And a big part of that is because of how structurally we're being set up. It's no coincidence. I said this earlier on Saeed's channel. It's no coincidence that Liverpool put 4 past us the other day. It's no coincidence that Man United had their best performance against, their best performance this season was against us. Liverpool's first half, yeah, that was your best half that you've had this season, Husam. That was against us. Newcastle battered us, right? That's on the coach. That's on the manager. We're not playing well at the moment. And like I was saying, even though we were the most informed team over December and we picked up the most points, I kept coming on here and saying more bad than good. I said these wins are not sustainable because this man is still doing crazy stuff, still playing multiple guys out of position when there's guys fit, you know, still bringing on the wrong subs. You know, still telling Enzo to leave Caicedo alone and leave him in Poch's Island. I call it Poch's Island now, by the way. Poch's Island is in the middle of the pitch where Caicedo is left by himself, and all of a sudden Caicedo seems to have 8 legs, apparently. Yeah? Against Liverpool. He leaves him there by himself. Just deal with it by yourself, Caicedo. Let them all run at you, and you can do it all by yourself. Yeah? Same thing happened again yesterday. I'm seeing Caicedo being isolated time and time and time again. So for me, like I said, officially, I am now Poch out because this man is not changing anything.
You don't
This
mean
man is not changing anything. He's consistently doing the exact same things. And the only reason why I didn't say it earlier, like I've said 1,000,001 times, is because we had 1,000,000 injuries. Yeah. But now he's got key players back like Nkuku. Nkuku yesterday barely did anything, bro, because he wasn't getting any chances to it. And a big part of that was starting Gallagher in that hole. You took Gallagher off last game, right? At halftime. When managers make subs at halftime, you know they messed up. You know they're thinking, right, I need to make it right. He made 3 subs against Liverpool, Gallagher being one of them. Carney comes on, plays really well, gets an assist for Nkuku. The next game, he's dropped again. Guess who's back on the pitch? Gallagher. Doing nothing, running about doing nothing, right? And I'm not saying that's the reason why
you call Gallagher goal.
And I'm not saying
Excel bully.
Hey, George, don't interrupt him. Let him just land everything.
I did call him an Excel bully, and you're gonna have people in the chat, rivals, saying you're scapegoating Gallagher and this, that. No one's saying that. You know, we lost yesterday because of Conor Gallagher. But end of the day, when we don't play him in that role and we play someone that's actually got a quick thinking brain as a 10, when you play as an attacking midfielder, you need to be decisive in your decision making. You need to be quick on your feet. Gallagher is not that. But this guy's trying to build the team around him. When we don't have him on the pitch, we play better as a team. I'm sure you guys have seen multiple examples now of Gallagher breaking down our attacks. I've been saying this from last year, bro. I wanted this guy out. Do you know what I'm saying? So for me right now, this guy is killing himself. He is killing himself with the constant poor in-game management, the constant poor lineups, the excuses. He came out the other day and had the cheek to say that the fact that we conceded first rattled us pretty much. We didn't concede first. We scored first against Wolves. And this man literally came out saying that we conceded first. That's the reason why we was rattled. And that's the reason why we played the way we did. I'm tired of it. I'm sick and tired of these excuses because these players are not bad players. And the perfect example to give is Steven Gerrard, yeah, with Aston Villa. This man last season, Aston Villa on paper, if you look at their team, this guy had them 17th or 18th, whatever it was. And people were getting onto them. I said, bro, when you watch their games, yeah, they just look like they don't know what they're doing. This man is literally about to get sacked. And when he got sacked, what happened with Emery? Emery's now got them in European places. They're going to get top 6 this season. And people are asking about Aston Villa title challenges. This was the same players, by the way, with a few additions here and there, right? This manager has been atrocious. He's been abysmal, in fact. And the sooner he goes, the better. Because I've got no confidence week in, week out. I can't predict games. Kunle, relax, bro. I can't predict games. Yeah, you've done a lot of talking. I've listened to you. You can talk after. Yeah, I can't predict games anymore because it's very unpredictable. You know, the players. There's no confidence in the players anymore because I don't know how they're going to be set up. As much as I believe that they're good players, it's a mess right now. It's an absolute mess, and he's created a lot of that mess himself. So he needs to go in it. But he's not going to get sacked. But he will get sacked eventually if this carries on. He will. So all the briefings that are coming out today, ignore them, innit? Because Potter was getting the same ones. Potter was getting the exact same ones. But yeah, man.
Wait, Chelsea fans confirm. On that stat, didn't Tuchel win like 10 of those 31 points anyway?
He got some of those points. He helped Potter this season. Yeah.
No. What the stat on the screen was what Potter won. It was the total points last year.
23 games.
Yeah, so that was the 23 games that Potter managed.
Okay.
In the league. Guys, I want to throw something out there that's come out this afternoon. I think this is important when talking about Chelsea's overarching problems. Matt Hughes from the Daily Mail has reported that Chelsea, one of the reasons why Chelsea are fearful of sacking Poch is that they believe it would cost them around 10 million to dismiss him. And they believe that's going to put them closer to potentially breaking financial rules with the Premier League. And with all the other stories that came out the back end of last week that you guys are sailing very close to the sun when it comes to that, is it not? Could that be a reason that he ends up staying? Because you're just at a point where you can't keep sacking managers and spending how you've been doing and losing income from no Champions League, no European football, etc. Because you're burning the candle at both ends. Sure, like that, from my outside looking in, I know a lot of Chelsea fans are playing down the financial stuff like there's nothing to look at. But every single football financial expert in the world is saying that's a crazy notion to follow.
Terry, you're right. I'm the first person to love to banter Chelsea on these financial issues. but they somehow rise up 115 million in player sales every season. I don't know how they do it. They have so many players, young players especially, like Conor Gallagher, Broha, and all these guys that they just sell every single year. If it was any one of us, our other clubs, maybe Manchester United, Liverpool, Arsenal, or even Tottenham, we wouldn't be able to generate that kind of player sales. But they just have such a good wealth of young players that people actually are interested in buying, that somehow they're going to sell off 4 players and make up 100+ million easy.
Good discussion about
Nina, do you think that? Do you think you will be able to sell players, raise the money, and avoid FFP and profit and sustainability regs?
No. Which players are we going to sell to do that? We can barely sell for pure profit. Like none of our youth players, you know, we tried with Breuer, potentially with Gallagher as well. That's all pure profit, but there's not a market for them. No one will pay 50 million, not even 40, maybe not even 30. Obviously, Breuer's gone on a loan, but you know, the best workout scenario for that was to sell him. But, you know, what's 10 million right now? If that's the case, what is 10 million? If we can pay 115 million for players, then I don't see that as a problem, really, personally. But yeah, look, I mean, we almost celebrated the fact that Todd found all the loopholes there was last season. Like, we were happy about that, Don. Like, disagree with me if, like, you think that. But, you know, to bring in the players that he did, we were all excited about it. But now it's going to backfire. There's consequences for every decision you make. And, you know, at least we could have backed it and said, well, it's working out on the pitch. So, you know, we'll deal with that. But it's not. So we're looking at a loss on the pitch and we're looking at a loss financially as well.
Nina, can we talk about that? We talk about all
I want to ask a question as well.
There's a lot of expert. Look, I was told I don't know ball because I had a lot of opinions at the start of the season. Chelsea fans, you lot had loads and loads of Hey, go on mute then, innit? Don't say it, just go on mute. So this is when all the Chelsea fans had all the explanations in the world for us. First of all, they told us we ain't Arsenal. We don't need to take 3 years to do a rebuild. We can do it in one summer. 1 billion, nothing to us. All right, cool. We warned them, but they were like, nah, we got this. We paid 85, 90 million for Mudryk. They're like, nah, he's a great talent. We didn't overpay for him. We beat Arsenal. Cool, no problem. You overpaid. Nah, we didn't. It's calm. Poch, he has no experience dealing with a big club. He's been to Spurs and PSG.
How much do you say for Mudryk?
Brother, you said you were on mute, but I can hear you. Why
Get the figures correctly. You're gonna cook.
Why can I hear you on mute, bro? I've never been able to hear someone on mute before. Anyway, as I was saying, they also told me about Caicedo, Enzo, the next big thing, World Cup winner. He's the truth. Now, there's that. When it comes to their baby boy Enzo, there's excuse after excuse. He's not a 6, he's not 8, he's not a 10. The player he's playing alongside, he can't get whatever. There's always excuses for Enzo. Then they told us Pochettino was the man. He knows how to handle this young group of people. Like, he's the best man for the job. Rare tear towels, hearing all sorts of explanations. The same things that Nina and Don are using to explain themselves now, 6 months later, after all of us warned them about all these things, they're now crying about it. Don just said the exact words I said at the start of the season. Chelsea is a mess. He said those exact words. I warned him at the start. He was like, "No, you don't know ball. You don't know ball. Poch is this, Poch is that." Who said Poch was going to do this? They said when Nkunku comes back, when the guy gets it. They have all the explanations in the world. They go explain.
By the way, people, if you've never streamed,
I thought you were on mute, bro.
I
thought you were on mute, bro. Can I land?
He likes to twist your words.
I'll let you. You can respond to everything. You can respond after, bro. Don't worry.
Can I just jump in for a minute, right? One thing I don't get about you, Don, I know they're your club, right? I don't get how you're jumping to your club's defense here.
I'm not jumping to my club's defense. I'm jumping to my defense.
I'm telling you how it comes across. It's like you jump in and you defend Chelsea at every step, but then at the same time you criticize them at every step.
No.
That's nothing for me, bruv.
That's not what you're gonna do, Terry. Because I'm not defending my club. I'm defending what I said. Kunle likes to twist words.
Don, I'm sorry, Don. You can't wait. You can't fool the whole panel.
He likes to twist words. I haven't come. I've been cooking my
Yeah,
club.
you can't fool us. You can't fool us.
I've been cooking my
We
club.
watched you for a whole 6 months.
Hold on, bro. Hold on, bro.
There's one
Don, you do this every time.
Wait, Jules, hold on a second.
you weren't
Don,
saying
at
shit
hurt,
about us.
at hurt, you can't let your club be shit.
Bro,
You
guys,
know
guys,
you want
guys,
to.
Guys, let me jump in for a minute, please. Can we just try and keep one voice at a time? Because the viewers can't really hear.
Exactly.
Go on, Don, and then we'll go back to the panel. Because I actually think that was a question for Nina, to be fair. But we'll
I
come back.
believe I was getting asked a question, but I didn't.
Yeah,
understand
but
what was
Don's got this main character syndrome thing going on. He can't wait for his turn, innit? He can't wait for his turn.
I'm gonna defend myself because you're in a group chat with me, Kunle, yeah. And majority of the season, I've been criticizing my club more than I've been bigging them up. Start of the season, I said yes, we've been performing better. Poch has got us well drilled, and we're creating good chances. How long ago was that, bro? More time. I've been cooking my club, so no one's gonna try and tell me that I'm here defending Chelsea. But I've been cooking these. Allow it. Don't do that,
brother. You lot.
Come on, Kunle, finish.
Go on, you lot. I told every Chelsea fan what's going to happen. Poch is going to have some good performances against some big clubs, but they're not going to be enough to get into the top 6. It's just not going to be enough. And what's happened? They've won against Liverpool 2-2. They've won against Arsenal 2-2. They've won against City 4-4. And they were celebrating these performances like we're supposed to be excited and fear Chelsea. They told us that the project's better than Liverpool. They told us that Man United are in the mud, but these man are mid-table blues. That's your new nickname, bro. Mid-table blues, bro.
Todd Blues.
You lot are the question is, why did you not see this when we saw it? Why are you only catching up now?
Nino, you predicted that he would start Ben Chilwell at left wing, by the way. That's the question he's asking you. That's basically what
brother. Hey, these are semantics. These are semantics, Don. I said Pochettino can't make good decisions because he's never been at a big club with big club pressure, and he's showing it every week.
Please. Over to Nina, please.
Sorry, Nina.
Thank you, Terry. Appreciate it. Well, there's a lot to unpack there. So again, don't quite understand what the question is.
How did you miss everything that we saw? That's what I'm saying. That's the question.
What you saw all of that happening? And
we saw your club was in a mess. They can't finish in the top 6. Pochettino is inexperienced. The squad is inexperienced. You bought loads of up and coming rather than ready made.
We
you
saw
said
that.
Add one thing to that as well.
Thiago Silva is the best defender in the Premier League.
Let me add one more thing to that to help you with the question. Yeah, it's with the Todd Bowley. What's his name? Todd Bowley. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you do these long contracts. You guys thought you found no, but I'm just saying when your club does this kind of strategy where everyone thought they found the loophole. Wow, Todd Bowley's a genius. No one saw the opposite side and thought, hold on, what if it doesn't work? And what if you're stuck with these players? That's one thing I think. How come didn't any of you guys anticipate that could happen? Like none of these players could work.
Yeah, of course we did. That's exactly the point I raised at the start of this stream is that when you buy so many young players...
No, at the start, when it was happening, I feel like more time you might have been excited.
That's exactly what Nina said at the earlier on in the stream. She said, oh God, you explain it yourself. That's what she said. 100%.
Yeah, I said that you don't. When you do that, it's all a gamble. You don't know.
No, but wait, not at the start of the stream. I'm talking about the start of the season. When it was happening, you guys were happy about it. They
gave us explanations, Terry. They gave us explanations for these signings. Now they're trying to backtrack.
We're coming for you, bro.
As far as I can remember, wait,
Big pause.
Who do you support, Kunle?
Irrelevant, bro. Irrelevant.
No, please just tell me what
irrelevant. Irrelevant. Arsenal.
Oh, I believe Arsenal were in the race for Mudryk, and I believe they also did want Caicedo at one point. So that's an interesting point. Anyway,
great.
I was just going to say, I think
still doesn't make him overpaid. Not overpaid, overpriced.
Can I answer your question?
And that's what it does also, by the way.
You asked me one and I answered you. That's what was happening.
Yeah,
so
perfect.
continue.
And now I'll answer the question you initially asked, which is exactly what I said at the start, that I think, and I blame recruitment and I blame ownership for actually overpricing all these young players. And the reason with the Caicedo situation, it's actually quite funny because we initially didn't want to pay 80 million. And that was the first 3 bids were rejected because we didn't want to pay more than 80 million, maybe 85 pushing it for Brighton. The only day we did sign him is the day that Jurgen Klopp decided to put 111 million on the table and Chelsea decided to go, oh yeah, let's have him because we've been pursuing him for so long. That's the only reason we ended up paying that much. Enzo Fernandez, World Cup winner, player of the tournament, a lot of potential, but a very thin CV. He didn't cost 106 million either. So to answer those questions, I don't believe that we needed to pay that money, but were they talented players? Did they have potential to grow? Yeah. Are they being played in the right positions? Probably not. Like Don told you earlier, he's been leaving Caicedo very isolated. Look, you're rolling your eyes. I'm not happy with where my club is at the moment, if that's what you want me to say. Yeah, we are a mid-table team. Frankly, that was a bit of a compliment because Wolves are also mid-table, but they made us look really bad at Stamford Bridge at home. Yeah, facts. Absolutely right. But that's it. Like, what else do you want me to tell you?
Do you know what, Nina?
I'll be honest. It doesn't matter what you say.
Don. I've been waiting patiently.
Go for it.
Nina, a lot of this frustration.
I'm gonna go after George.
Everyone's saying these things. I'll be honest. A lot of it is pointed towards this man next to you because he's a criminal. Because a lot of the things that he was saying at the start of the season was the opposite of what you're saying.
Last week,
he was saying. Oh, sorry, the start of this season. Season. No,
last week he was saying some of these things.
You don't land your points, and I'll come in. Go on, carry on.
Let me finish. So at the start of the season, he came with a lot of energy. He maintained that energy through to about mid-December, and then Don it changed, and then now he Don, don't start pulling faces because Don, what you do, you do this things where if you say so much, people are just gonna forget the things you start to say.
That's lies. Everything. Hey, hold on. What I want to say is everything is documented. That's why I love you.
I'm gonna mute everybody, mate. I don't want it to become like a space. This is not a space. It's much more professional than a space. No disrespect to Sam. You're the king of the spaces, even though you've left, even though you've abdicated your throne. Don, let the man's finish, please, and then.
He's not gonna lie though. Don't do that.
I'm not. Don, I let you land. Let me land now because plenty of times we've heard you say, when Poch does this, it's gonna be better. When Poch does that, it's gonna be. And he's done these changes.
Speak on it, George. Speak on it.
Even when you talk about being in group chats, I'm in a group chat with you. I remember when the lineups came out against Liverpool. You went, come on. That's what you put in the caps lock. Come on to the chat. You were telling us
it's my team. They're about to play. Come on, let's go.
You were supporting.
It's my team. I'm a supporter. I'm a fan. Let's go. That's my team. What's supposed to do? What am I supposed to do?
Honestly, bro, you're the best.
I'm gonna land.
Legendary.
I can't support my team now.
My point is that if you feel a certain way, you're saying all this, but then you've said these things also. I said you say a lot, Don. So we're just I'm keeping up on the positive things you say about your club. I don't care about the negative things you say. Keeping up on the positives. And when you have been positive, the things you're saying are like, my team is here, my team's gonna do this, my team's gonna do that. And they're not following up. They're just not following up. Why you're talking about these things about bloody the lineups? Oh, Caicedo's not playing in a position. Enzo's not playing in his right. They're playing in midfield. Regardless, they're still having bad performances. Caicedo against Liverpool went up against McAllister, who they both played for the same team. McAllister's on the left wing. He won more duels than him. He done his job, the defensive midfielder job, better than him. These aren't things that you can look at and blame the manager.
He's playing by himself, George. He's playing by himself. He can't do that.
Pochettino.
The irony of this is so mad.
You're trying to protect your 150.
I will say this, Don. Maybe not everything they're saying is 100% right, but remember, we're not in a court of law here, so we can sometimes talk about what you're implying by the things you do. We don't need to get the exact word right. This is football. I will say this about you, Don. You know how much respect I have for you, bro, but you don't hear yourself. You defend your club every step of the way, no matter how bad things get.
This is Stevie Wonder level.
I'll give you an example of how
Stevie Wonder, brother. You can't see what we see.
I've been cooking this for the majority of the season.
Bro, you ain't been cooking nobody, bro.
You're not going to do that.
Don, you're a salesman just like me. So you're fantastic with words. You've got the gift of the gab, and you're excellent at this. However, I've been around since content creating wasn't called content creating. It was called putting a video on the internet, right? That's how long I've been doing this. And I know what you do. You'll sit there, right? And with chest, like, laugh at teams that are better than you. You'll talk about how we're going to catch this team. We're going to do that. We're coming this. We're on this way. You won't quite say we've turned a corner, because then people can hold you to those exact words. But you say things to the effect of, but you don't directly say it. And then if it comes to fruition, you go, see, last week when I told you that riddle, that's what I meant.
Oh, okay.
He's been found out. That is a perfect analysis of
And all that is, and this isn't a Nina hasn't been here before. That's what you've been called out for. We know what you mean when you say things, but you're very, very smart with your words, bro. But remember, we're not in court. Like, we don't need to get you. We know what you mean,
because I said, looking at how you lot have played majority of the season when we had that conversation about United or Chelsea, because I said we're going to finish above you guys. I've said we're going to finish above everyone now, right? Is that what you're saying?
That isn't what
because
I said, no.
Because Rhino earlier, hold on. Rhino earlier on in the stream. Rhino earlier on in the stream literally said, I can't lie, when I watched Chelsea, it's like, yeah, these men should be doing better than us and they should be higher than us. So it's not a wild take for me to say we're going to finish above United. I didn't say we're going to finish above Arsenal. I didn't say we're going to initially at the start. Yeah, no, because he's talking about hold on, Jules. He's talking about catching teams and whatnot. The only team that I said we're going to catch and we're going to finish above is United because of how bad they are. But guess what? I've got a manager that's even worse than his manager, bro. But I've got a manager that's even worse than his manager.
But that's a specific.
And how long? And how long, Terry? Hold on a second.
Don. That's a specific.
I'll let you finish.
But that's not what you believe, Don.
Don. Let me interject for a minute because we don't get back. Because we don't get back to that point. Sometimes you've got to stop halfway through a statement. The point is this: that's a specific example about how you've dismissed for months. You dismissed everything about anything that could be positive about Man United and how we were going to go backwards, and you fought back hard with chest about a lot of the bad things that were going on at Chelsea. Bad, right?
Because you guys are bad, bro. Yes, you guys are bad. I literally came out here saying that we're in a crisis.
Don, you're missing the point as to why you're being called out. But you were saying that there was essentially loads of great things about Chelsea. Nobody's saying you're wrong about Man United. What they're now saying is that you're backtracking like you've always thought these things were bad at Chelsea. When that isn't how your behavior, that isn't what your behavior and your defense of Chelsea alluded to. And it's fine.
But listen, hold on, Terry. This is why I love YouTube, because go back to multiple streams. I'm on here weekly. As long as I'm not at games, I'm on here weekly. Go to Never a Foul, go to Chelsea Fan TV, go to your streams, Terry. Yeah, and go tell me the last time that I was confident in his team, because I have not been confident in his team for months, and a big reason of that is because of Pochettino. If I'm still coming out here saying, hold on, bro, I said, come on, as in let's go. It's my team. I'm gonna support my team. Yeah, but. You already know that I don't like Palmer as a false nine. You already know that. But end of the day, no one can come and sit here and tell me I've been positive about this team, because I've been criticizing this team now for months.
You're not positive, but what you're doing is you're not positive, but what you're doing is you're doing like the older brother thing. You're doing the older sibling thing. One second. You're doing the older sibling thing where nobody else can make fun of your sibling or play around with them the same way.
You can make fun of me for being wrong about Poch. I was wrong about Poch.
You can criticize them as much as you want.
No, you're not wrong.
Everybody else here is not allowed to criticize Chelsea.
You're wrong right now.
Egal. You know, is about one thing about. I'm not scared to say if I'm wrong about something. I was wrong about Poch. Yeah?
What?
I was wrong about Poch. Kunle, you ain't been in enough streams with me, yeah? I was wrong about Poch. I did not expect this guy to come in. I did not expect this guy to be as bad as what he is.
Just in the interest. Yeah, sorry. Just in the interest of time, I want to go to Husam on Chelsea. Then we've got to move on to yesterday's game, just because we are going to run out of time.
Yeah,
Husam, what did you want to say about Chelsea, bro?
I mean, you asked the question at the start of the Chelsea section. Listen, everyone here knows Don is a fraud, so we're just going to move on from Don. Let's talk about Chelsea. Chelsea should not sack Pochettino. The reason why they should not sack Pochettino is not a financial thing. It's because he's not the main guy to blame at Chelsea Football Club. This team is better than 11th based on what? Based on their potential 4 years from now? Because what I see on the pitch right now is 100% should be in 11th. I don't see any player that's good enough right now. If I line up the whole Chelsea squad right now, I'll probably take 2 or 3 players to improve our squad as a title challenging team out of 25. So when you see the Chelsea squad's not good enough. Prime example is the left back situation. Colwell plays there, they all cry. Chilwell plays there, they all cry. Cucurella plays there, they all cry. And who's their worldly solution? Oh, we should have kept Maatsen. Like any club in the league has 4 left backs in their squad. That's not a thing. So they've tried multiple different things. It doesn't work. With Enzo, they play him next to Gallagher. It's a problem. In the 6, it's a problem. In the 8, it's a problem. In the 10, it's a problem. It's like everywhere he plays, they'll find some form of excuse. The truth is these Chelsea players are not good enough. The main culprit of why Chelsea are in this position is Todd Bowley and the recruitment. Sacking Pochettino will change absolutely nothing with Chelsea Football Club. And how I know this, they're nitpicking mistakes. Oh, his substitution here. Oh, he's played players out of position. Jurgen Klopp, Pep Guardiola, and Arteta have been the 3 best managers in the league this season. All 3 managers have played players out of position. Havertz has played in midfield. Ben White's a centre-back playing right-back. I can use examples from my own club. Joe Gomez is a centre-back playing left-back. McAllister's not a DM playing DM. Gakpo's not a right-winger playing right-wing. So many examples. The problem is Chelsea as an institution have failed. This sports project is the biggest failure in the 21st century as a sports project, as an institution. Because what they decided to do is something that's never been done in the history of football, which is have a squad with absolutely zero experience, buy 25 youngsters, and then people expect them to finish 3rd, 4th, or 5th. Let's use Caicedo as an example. The reason why Kunle is criticizing Caicedo and George and others is Caicedo right now is in a team where there are 25 Caicedos. Now, if Caicedo went to Liverpool or he went to a club with more experienced players, when he walks through the door, there's Alisson, there's Trent, there's Van Dijk, there's Mo Salah, there's players who have been there, done that. There's players who have Premier League experience that can help pull him through games. And if you want to use an example outside Chelsea, I can use an example outside Chelsea. Let's go to the team that everyone thinks is going to win the league, Manchester City, Julian Alvarez. Julian Alvarez was Enzo's teammate at River Plate. Julian Alvarez, for the last 10 games, has probably dropped 5 stinkers, 6 stinkers, 7 stinkers in the last 10 games. But because they don't have 11 Julian Alvarez's, it doesn't matter. Because they've got Kevin De Bruyne, they've got Rodri, they've got experienced players. And by the way, Pep Guardiola also plays centre-backs at right-back and left-back. Also has played Julian Alvarez in midfield this season. Also has played players out of position multiple times. He played KDB as striker, still ended up winning the league. So this whole players out of position. Alex Ferguson played West Brown right-back. He was a centre-back player. Managers play players out of position. Doesn't matter. For me, this is exactly what's going to happen. First of all, Pochettino doesn't deserve to get sacked. The board deserves to get sacked, and Chelsea fans should all be bawling out because he's the one that ruined their institution. And Chelsea fans have reverse PTSD. You know how when you watch those documentaries and there are people who spend 20 years in jail and then they can't adjust to society? Their 20 years is 20 years in mansions. And now they come live with commoners. They don't know how it feels to be in this.
Facts. It's the problem.
So now they still have the Abramovich mindset, but Todd
Nina said it already.
He sold the mansion. You're living with us now. They're no longer in a mansion. So now he came in, he changed the entire mantra of Chelsea Football Club, and they still think the manager is going to happen, just to summarize along. This is exactly what's going to happen, mark my words. Pochettino will eventually get sacked.
When are you gonna put any accountability on Poch? When are you ever gonna put any accountability on Poch?
I'm taking more players from Newcastle who are 9th than you. I'm taking more players from Wolverhampton Wanderers than you. Your players are overrated and crap, so many of them. And I'm not going to say Enzo Caicedo because that's bait. I'm going to talk about Badia Sheila is not good enough. Disasi is not good enough. Your whole left backs are not good enough. Your right back is always injured. Malo Gusto is not experienced. Your goalkeeper is about 15 years old. Your forward line can't hit a barn door. And all you want to say is Poch. Poch, FYI, I want the hard-hitting reality. Let me give you reality. Poch coached to win versus Liverpool, coached to win versus Arsenal, coached to win versus City, coached to win versus Aston Villa in the FA Cup, coached to win versus Wolves away where he should have been 5-0 up in the first half. All of these things people don't want to talk about. All they want to do is...
He coached to win against Liverpool.
Oh, he played this guy out of position. Oh my God, look, we lost to Middlesbrough. Yeah, but they don't say Palmer had missed the season in that game where they could have been 4-0 up in the first half. Now, I'll just land on this. Eventually, they're going to sack Poch. And this is what's going to happen because the Chelsea PTSD won't ever go away. Because this has been their whole life, Terry, 20 years. They're going to sack Poch. And then they're going to get to the next hipster. De Zerbi, Thomas Frank, one of them ones. Because, I don't know how they think Zidane or Jose or one of these guys is going to come.
We need Enrique to go there, bro. That's what we need.
They're going to get the next hipster. And then when the next hipster wins 2 games out of 3, they're going to go like, oh, look, we told you these players aren't as bad. And then the next 6 games, they're going to lose 5 of them. And then they're going to come here and say the same shit regurgitated over and over again. Hey, look, De Zerbi is playing Colwell left back. De Zerbi is putting Enzo in the 10. De Zerbi out. It's going to be a cycle. And the biggest culprit is their owner and the board, not the manager.
I understand where you're coming from. And just because of interest of time, I will say this in terms of, I know that Don said it on a number of shows recently. I'll back him on that 100%. And Nina's already said it. That's what I think is multi-layered. I think some accountability has got to go to the manager. But again, they know they've bought too many young players. They know that the Todd Bowley and co haven't run things well so far. So there's a lot to fix at Chelsea. Viewers, we'd love to get your take on that in the comment section below. I want to do some super chats before we move on to yesterday's game. This here says, take this as you want, but I hope Chelsea lose the cup final against Liverpool. That's from a Chelsea fan. If we somehow win, it will paper over cracks. Big up, Don. Just really quickly, Nina, Don, do you want to win that final still, even though it could paper over cracks?
Of course I want to win, but we're going to lose that game, bro.
I wanted to ask. I think I'd want to win, but I wanted to ask. Chelsea got the wrong sugar daddy. Stop flirting with sugar daddies. It is on Poch. Maka plays better. Number 6 and Caicedo. Sorry, Don, you're a nice guy, but you can't defend this. Is what African Cat says. He hasn't defended it today, to be fair. Don, didn't you celebrate Bowley for outsmarting the rules and winning the transfer window? You celebrated Bowley since the summer.
Yeah, this was basically my question. Like, not to Don specifically, but just to the Chelsea people.
It was a smart thing to do. Obviously, they ended up getting a loophole, but at the same time, I criticized him for the amount of young players that he's
Don.
You never criticized Bowley.
I think the loophole thing is fair. Like, I thought it was clever, but you had to buy the right people whilst using that loophole, and that's where it's gone wrong. Because if they were top of the league right now, say it works, and they were top of the league, nobody would be chatting. Here, this
Terry,
is.
I know you're short on time. I was just going to ask. They've said a lot of things about Todd Bowley today, but I just want to know who's been saying this for over a year now. Like
you have been Egal. You have been. Husam, you fraud with the PTSD analogy. 3rd stream in a row. You'll say it again. What else?
Let Husam read that.
You read that, please. I don't want to do a league gunner.
Listen, Lahwa was yesterday. I've already whenever Liverpool lose, I get invited on 700 streams. So yeah, big up. It's been twice this season.
I normally wait for Sam, me and him Fridays on Straight Facts, but I woke up early this morning, 6 a.m. Sam, can you come on today? Loki, I believe Astrid Wet has cursed this club. Listen, I'm not a fan in terms of I don't follow her, and I feel like I don't subscribe to her stuff, but I don't get the hate she gets. If that's what she wants to do, leave her alone. Unfortunately, I agree with her, Sam. Big up Cheshire. Who's Cheshire?
Conley, because he's smiling all the time.
The Cheshire Cats. I get that. Right. Raya has a better stats than Vicario when it comes to collecting high balls and crosses, is what Banter on the Pitch says. Yesterday, though, gentlemen, I need to get into yesterday was an epic day in the title race. And it may be the best Arsenal performance I think we've seen under Mikel Arteta. Dominated Liverpool, stopped them. 3 goals, in fact, 4 goals scored, really. They scored their own goal in that game. Kunle, how impressed were you? And do you think Arsenal have sent a message that you are 100% in this title race?
Look, yesterday, sensational Mikel Arteta masterclass. Look, I've been humbled. Because I said, as fans, we're always the first to say, we know what's better, play this player, Don, play that player in that position, all sorts of things. But when you get it wrong, you got to put your hand up and say, you know what, I got it wrong. I was effing and blinding at Havertz starting. I was livid that Jorginho was in the pitch. But I don't know anything. My manager, they know the best, so I must listen to him. And he put on a masterclass yesterday. Jorginho, throwback performance. Man of the match, 10 out of 10. Like the tactical change because when Jorginho usually plays, Rice is more the box-to-box 8. But this time he let Rice do all the cleaning up and Jorginho just dictate your play. So I like that little change in tactics, which I didn't expect from my manager. So I was super impressed with that. Everyone was annoyed about him taking off Martinelli when he took him off. I was one of them. But I was happy to see Trossard, and he scored the 3rd goal. End of the game. Klopp leaves North London with no points in his last season in the Premier League. Things you love to see. And definitely, we are back in the title race, 100%. No one can deny it because they were saying we had to win to be involved in the title race. Now everyone's still asking me questions. Does that mean you're in the title race now? Of course it does. We won our 3 points. Why are you asking me questions? 3 points down the line. Look, game after game, we go again. 3 games against City and Liverpool this season, and we've got 7 points. That's more impressive than we were doing 2 years ago. So I got to be excited about this team. That's where I'm at.
Gal, there's been a lot of talk this year that the football from Arsenal has been slow, that the system has been overly changed from last year. But it appears not just yesterday, but in the last 3 games since your international break, the fast, free-flowing football, one-touch football has come back. You've scored 8, 9, 10 goals in your last 3 games, 1-3 on the bounce, and you're 2 points off the top now. Is this the exact response you wanted after what was a poor Christmas period?
This is exactly what you want, Terry. 100%. This is the response you want. And in a game like this, a game you need to win, a game against a title rival, a game against a team that's 5 points clear, that have only lost 1 game the entirety of the season against Tottenham, which they think is to this day is still controversial loss. So just goes to show you how good of a team that we faced. And we found the perfect balance of control and attacking play over the last couple of days. Yes, there's been moments where we could have scored more goals or we could have done better, but in that game we were direct. We had a direct point in what we were trying to do, and you could clearly see from minute 1 to the end what we were trying to do in the game. We were trying to find Martinelli into the channels. We were trying to get 1-2s with Martin Odegaard and Kai Havertz. When Bukayo Saka's on the ball, he's driving, trying to find cutbacks, and everybody knew exactly what they were doing. We found Liverpool, and numerous times we got them out of position. We found players like Van Dijk forcing him into a mistake. You got Konate being bullied by Kai Havertz. You have situations where our defense, yes, we made a mistake to lead to the goal, but outside of that, Liverpool did not have a sniff on our goal. So this was probably one of the most complete performances we've had against a top team, because against City, it wasn't this convincing. Against Manchester United at home when we won 3-1, it wasn't this convincing. You guys had a lot of opportunities. Every team that we faced out of the top 6 this season, this was the most convincing win we've had. And against Liverpool, who's so good, it just goes to show you this was a statement victory. And the statement is, don't count us out yet, because a lot of people are counting us out. If we lost this game, people would have counted us out. The statement to everybody is, we're not going down easy. If we're gonna friggin' find ourselves out of this title race, it's not gonna be right now. And with the run that we have, we just need to keep this up, because this can give us the confidence, momentum. I used to be somebody who didn't believe in momentum and didn't believe in like all these other things, but really and truly, I see what momentum can do for a team now. I've seen it with Man City before. I've seen it with other teams. I've seen it with my own team when we got ESR and these guys come in. Momentum can swing now, and you could see us picking up wins after wins after wins. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but this is a big step forward for Arsenal, and I'm gassed, Terry. And for Liverpool fans, don't bring me Konate talks again, because I don't want to hear Konate. I don't want to hear about Konate. Every single time you guys tell me Konate's on the same level as Saliba, this and that, please allow it, because this guy got bullied by Kai Havertz. And both fouls on Kai Havertz were on Konate. On top of that, when you guys talk about this Liverpool team, yes, they're a great side, but without Salah and Darwin Núñez, they didn't really have that escape route. And Cody Gakpo looked like I didn't know what he was doing. Jota didn't really have much going on the whole day, and their whole attack looked like nothing. And their midfield was irrelevant. Trent Alexander-Arnold did not have a good game at all and got hooked. And that whole Liverpool team today, I've never seen them that bad, because Mikel Arteta had a masterclass, outclassed Jurgen Klopp, and every single time that we needed to make a change, he made that tactical change to help us win. We got an injury, he makes a change. Late game, he manages the game. And now everyone just want to talk about celebrations. Get out of my face. We had the biggest win of the season. We're going to celebrate as much as we want.
And we'll get to the celebration side of things, and we'll get to Liverpool in a minute. I want to ask George this question. Do you think Spurs sent a real message to Liverpool, to Man City, to the rest of the Premier League, that writing us off is stupid? We are the real deal. We're genuine title contenders.
Sorry, I'm confused with the question. You mean what Ange said on the weekend? Or where he said in his press conference?
No. Did I say Spurs? I meant Arsenal.
Yeah.
Sorry. My apologies. I had a slip of the tongue there. No,
I thought Terry had some little trick question. I thought he had a
Did I just do that? Sorry, my apologies.
That actually works out perfectly with what George usually says as well. So that's why we
actually, that's why it worked so well.
Yeah, it actually worked, you know.
So on that, Arsenal, how big a message is it they've sent to Liverpool, to Man City, to the rest of the Premier League, that they are legit? Because they had last season, they were in the title race, they fell away at the end. Everybody said they won't be in a position to do it again. They had a bad run over Christmas and ended up falling 5 points behind, and everybody said their season was over. And then they go and do that to Liverpool. Is it now time for rivals, all banter aside, to take Arsenal seriously?
I mean, I thought it was going to be a big message, but clearly the Arsenal fans don't think the same because we got two guys sat right next to us that won't sit there and say, we're going to go on to win the league. This is the momentum that we need to go and push us to win the league. What they're saying is, well, we're going to win our next couple games. And even if we don't go down, we're going to go down fighting. It's like all this talk that they've pretty much given up. Egal, I never interrupted you, bro. Just let me finish. Again, so they're doing all this talk that, oh my.
You know the ad libs, bro. Come on, Migos. Let's go.
Okay, so yeah, so all this talk and all this thing that I thought it was going to be a big message because they beat, as I said, the league leaders right now 3-1 at their home ground, after losing to them twice already or losing to them once at their ground and then they got the draw. I thought it was going to be a big win that propelled them on to winning the league. I thought the fans would, start to build that belief in them, but it clearly isn't there. Me personally, I think I said they're going to go on a run of games. They're always gonna. Arsenal are going to be in and around that top 4, like that top 3, and they're going to be ahead of some of the other teams. But will this propel them to go win the league and sort of scare the rest of the teams in the league? No, not really. I think they've done their job. They beat a Liverpool team that was pretty poor on the day. I think Husam agreed that just no one really turned up. Their biggest players had some of their worst performances. Like shout out to Lisma. Oh my God, what happened to Virgil? Because it was horrible from him. Like all season, he's been flawless. I'm not gonna lie. Virgil's been flawless most of the season, apart from the red card he got. He's been really good, and that performance for me and him and Allison was just both of them.
George, you know why you're a fraud? You know why you're a fraud? And this is why I'm saying it. You're a fraud because you just said, I thought it was going to be a big momentum win. But because of the Arsenal fans' reaction, I don't think so now. Like, what are we doing here, bro? Either you thought it was a big win or it wasn't a big win, bro. Forget about us. Terry asked you a question about you, not to base it on how the... Look, you heard the message loud and clear, but you didn't hear the chest from my fan base. That's all it was. You heard it. You're shook. You heard it. That's what we're saying.
The message to me is, after we done a stream this morning too, is that Arsenal don't believe that they can win the league.
But you do. That was the question he asked. You believed. And that's what that matters, George.
It doesn't matter. One second. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what we say on a stream. The team believes. The manager believes. The team showed.
Okay, so let me guys, one at a time again, please. The viewers hate it when 2 or 3 people are shouting. It's not. It doesn't. No one can hear anything.
My point is that the fans don't believe because the team doesn't believe, and I don't think Arteta believes that you guys can win the league. You guys will take this win in isolation. It's going to be a massive win for you. Like I said, the biggest win of your season. But that's it. That's it. We're probably gonna hear about this. Let me
look like Arteta didn't believe on the sidelines yesterday. It really looked like that. We're
probably gonna hear about this win for the next 18 months. Because what I've been seeing people go on Twitter and say is that, oh, this is the biggest XG Liverpool have conceded in in Premier League history. Like, what the fuck does that mean? Is that your trophy that you want to come and carry around?
No, it means
this is
what
Arsenal fans are about.
Egal, don't answer that. Egal, neither of us have addressed that point on this stream, so he's just talking to no one.
Let me just break something down.
No, wait, hold on. Before you break something down, George.
I don't want to break it down. I want to throw this to some other rivals, right, Gal? Because again, take note from your. Listen to Konate. He's just it makes more sense to not answer, and I get why. Husam, why did you struggle so much against Arsenal yesterday? Was this a case of your players not turning up, or did Arteta and the Arsenal players just have a fantastic performance? And I ask you that because I know you didn't say it, and it was Tom Little, but you and Tom Little, when you were streaming, basically said we beat them with a weak team a few weeks ago. We brought the kids on to beat them. There was no real stress. Most Liverpool fans, I know you didn't personally, were predicting wins. So what went wrong? How comes Arsenal was so dominant against you?
Klopp played Gakpo right wing. He's not a right winger. He played McAllister DM. He's not a DM. He played Gomez left back. He's not a left back. Get him out. Get Klopp out, my Klopp. I think we were just not good enough on the day. The players that we always rely on let us down. Virgil van Dijk and Alisson, that is. If I come up here and I say Virgil's the best centre back in the world or Alisson's the best goalkeeper in the world, it wouldn't be considered waffle or anything crazy because people disrespect those opinions, and both of them let us down. I think Arsenal were the deserved winners. We played like absolute shit in that game, I'll be honest with you. We didn't create anything. We had one shot on target. Arsenal absolutely dominated us. I thought Gravenberch was hiding in the first half, literally hiding between the lines, never coming deep to receive the ball, not trying to, dictate play or anything. I thought he was absolutely dreadful. Our centre back and goalkeeper that have been so reliable were dreadful in that game. I think scapegoating Trent is funny because he as soon as he came off, all our threat went away as well. I thought our front line as well felt bad for Jota. Diaz, despite his involvement in the goal. By the way, that goal only happened because someone's one of the players' mums was just praying for him all day long, and it's just somehow Gabriel just volleyballed it into the back of his own net because it's just we didn't even deserve to score that goal. I think that game yesterday was football justice because we didn't deserve to beat them in the FA Cup. They were a much better team. And yesterday, look, when you're the better team on the pitch, you win. You win games of football, but. Yesterday Arsenal were a lot better than us, but I think we'll bounce back. Look, if this was Arsenal's final, it wasn't our final. It was not the game that we have to win. The Emirates away is the toughest game remaining for us away from home and at home, to be honest, because I think obviously the rest of the teams we could beat at Anfield or its lower league opposition. Arsenal 100% deserve to win the game. But we kick on now. I feel bad for what's about to happen to Vincent Kompany next week and Burnley at Anfield.
I hear when that Nina spoke a lot about the message it sent from Arsenal. We know it was a dominant game. Do you believe this will make Arsenal have more faith in winning the league, or do you get where George is coming from? That it's a great result, the great stats coming out of it, but in the end, it will amount to very little.
I mean, I think, it was a good result, but I haven't heard not one person mention Man City in this whole conversation. And, they're already on an unbeaten streak. And we know that Man City can absolutely go on and do that now that they've had, KDB's back, Haaland, and they've got a pretty easy fixture list as well, I'd say. But I mean, Arsenal, I think obviously Saka's been scoring, had a couple assists in the last games, Martinelli too. These are the players that have not been in form this season. If they can continue on that, build on that, then absolutely. But I don't know, for me, again, it's one of those things where I'll take more seriously if they go on and produce the same thing. I don't want to be giving you any more compliments after how we've discussed.
What do you think about your former players?
But
come on, Nina, just be
what
fair.
What do you think about your former players, Jorginho?
I am being fair. I'm telling you. I'm saying if Saka, Martinelli continue on this form, then why not? Last season, they were scoring goals. You had a collective of goals coming from Odegaard, Martinelli, Saka. That's not quite been the case this season. I don't think, and I said that I don't think that Jesus is going to be enough of a attacking centre forward to see you guys compete with Man City on that level and Liverpool, because they've got goals coming from a collective of players as well. But if these players step up for you again, then maybe. But I still think at some point down the line, a striker for Arsenal is going to be a problem. You're going to look back and you're going to think. You're going to think, oh, we needed a striker. Maybe that could be what's separating you from winning the league at the end of the day. And I think that the fact that you haven't addressed that situation still is going to be a problem because you're relying on these players to step up for you again. But that's a lot of pressure on these players.
We're going to have to manage, though, because the window's closed. We're going to have to manage till the summer. But when we have guys like Jorginho stepping up, when you guys told them to us for so cheap, it's like a blessing in disguise. You know what I mean? And I just wanted to throw that.
You love Kai Havertz now, yeah?
Listen,
Kai Havertz had a blinder yesterday. He had a blinder yesterday.
1 second.
But do I like him? No, I still don't like him. But he did his thing.
There's a reason why I brought up Jorginho, because Jorginho for Arsenal, we signed him in that January transfer window last year, and he's given us more standout performances as of late than your 120 million pound signing. So I'm just throwing that out.
Where'd you get 120 million from as well? Why have guys just making up numbers?
120 million euros, no?
Oh, you want to change it to euros then, do you? Oh, okay.
Yeah, why not?
Egal, can I ask you? I want to ask you and Kunle something.
But Jorginho deserves a shout out, man of the match performance. Big up.
Let me ask you, look. I got two questions. So, firstly, cool. So here's my standpoint in this whole thing. Obviously, I've never ruled Arsenal out. Arsenal are a very good team. And sorry, what's your name?
Kunle.
Not Kunle, and the Chelsea leader. Sorry,
Nina.
Sorry, sorry, because my mind's slow today. I need to eat food, but listen. Anyway, so Nina, listen,
have some jollof rice.
It's coming. Listen, so I agree with a lot of what Nina said, and I feel like we need to see it. But my thing is, how much, like, if you have to honestly look at this game, Arsenal did very well. Arteta outclassed Klopp, but how much of it do you really think it was down to Liverpool being bad? That's like, if you had to, like, I want to ask that question.
We made them bad. What you need to realize is their attack was non-existent. Their midfield couldn't hold on to anything. Yes, they had a lot of possession, but they didn't do nothing with it. And then you look at their defense. We forced their defense into errors. Konate, it wasn't just he had a bad game. Havertz was continuously on him and making him make mistakes. You had you never see those kind of mistakes from Van Dijk and Alisson.
But what if it's just a bad day in the office, though?
That right there, you could.
For us, it was, but that doesn't take away.
But it's not a coincidence. But it's not a coincidence.
I hear it.
We had a game plan.
Martinelli, you're a real one, man. You're a real one.
Bro, if you've got a good game plan against Liverpool, and especially that midfield, and if you've got a balanced lineup, a balanced midfield, like what Arteta set out yesterday, that's what happens. And that's why I was so annoyed at Poch when we lost against Liverpool, because he didn't set up our midfield correctly, you know. To play Jorginho, he played Jorginho.
You see that backhanded praise there? You see that baby?
Yeah. When Jorginho was at Chelsea,
come on before the game.
Hold on. When Jorginho was at Chelsea, I always said, if you play him next to a guy like a Matic and he's not the deepest man, he'll play well. He'll do well. And yesterday was a prime example. When you've got him next to a Rice, he'll play well, bro.
If Chelsea had you in the coaching staff, Don, they'll be top 4, bro.
No, I just like talking tactics.
All I have to say is,
I've got one other question because we are quickly running out of time because of the game that's starting. I want to throw this. I'm going to throw this. Yeah, come on. Brentford win tonight would be amazing. Not because I'm
epic.
Title race would
You're going to need to score 3 goals.
I want to throw this out. Anyone can jump in on this, but not the Arsenal fans to begin with. I've been saying for about 18 months, there's a lot of people out there that either really hate Arsenal or they fear Arsenal or they're scared of Arsenal. Whatever word you want to use, you can use. I have never seen a meltdown from grown men towards players and managers celebrating, for me, in a very typical way after such a big and important win. And Sky themselves only 3 weeks ago released a video of all of Klopp's best ever celebrations as an example. The Premier League has a video of all of Klopp's, Jose and Antonio Conte's best ever celebrations, and they've done some mad stuff. Why does Mikel Arteta get called unclassy, undignified? Why are the players immature for celebrating, but no other club in the Premier League is labelled with these things for celebrating?
Simple answer, Terry. Simple answer. Why? Because he hasn't won anything yet. If Arteta wins the league this season, and next season he's dancing on every pitch in the Premier League, no one will say anything. It's just look.
That's a lie, but we'll get to that.
Hang on a minute. When Jurgen Klopp run onto the football pitch, you haven't won the league then, though. You haven't won anything then.
I'm saying this is why the people react this way, and because of his CV. However, for me personally, I couldn't care less. Listen, celebrate. I'm not celebration police. Run around all that shit. We'll see who will be happier and come May time. That's what matters to me. But if they want to celebrate yesterday, it's a massive win. I have no problem. Wallahi, celebrate your win.
You do need to make sure that you Liverpool fans follow up with this, mate. Because I've heard from every single Liverpool fan, let's see if you have this come May. Let's see if you have this come May.
George, I'm going to win a
This is the one time that when it comes to Arsenal's defense is that people are just using the celebration thing with a stick to beat Arteta with. They won the game against title rivals after... Let's be real. A lot of us counted Arsenal out in this game. A lot of us. I did myself. Yeah. A lot of rival fans said
I'm glad you said us, George. I'm glad you did that. Appreciate that.
This Konate guy loves an ad-lib, bro. I'd say that. So I can't even lie. Like, at the end of the day, when you're in a big game, that like leading into a game, you can take it. The players probably started to feel the pressure. It had a lot of intensity, and it was built that this could write off Arsenal's season, like as in title or not. So for the fans to come in, not the fans, for the players after the game to release all of that built-up tension that they've probably had for like the past week, especially after all the bad performances they had at the start of the month, what can you expect them to do? Of course they're going to go nuts. Of course they're going to be celebrating on the field, and they're at their home stadium. You're not going to tell them how they cannot celebrate at their ground. That's their right to do. They're supposed to have a party after a win. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah, look, I find it really strange. Genuinely, I find it strange. I get your point, Husam, but then it still doesn't make sense. Conte was doing mad things when he first joined Chelsea, and he hadn't won the Premier League here at that point, as an example. And I remember it happening, by the way, last year to Man United. We actually won a trophy and celebrated. And people were like, why have the players got their national flags on? Why are they dancing? And this is why I defend Arsenal in this capacity, because I see Man United treated in the same way. We're the only two clubs where when we celebrate wins, we're told not to. In fact, people were saying yesterday Arsenal should have lost the game because now they've guaranteed City the league because they've made Liverpool drop points.
Who said that?
Lots of people in the comment sections, loads of people tweeted it.
Daps, bro. Daps.
Oh, the Daps right now. Listen, I kind of get it. He's a City fan. But generally, the mental gymnastics when Arsenal win, I've never seen anything. I mean, Richard Keys, of all people, a man who cheated on his then, I think she may have been terminally ill wife. Hang on a minute. With his terminally ill wife, with his daughter's friend, saying that Arteta isn't classy. I mean, read the room, brother. Like, you can't make comments about dignity and class when you literally did what you did, brother. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
You want to know something, Terry? There's two parts to it. There's two parts to it. One, making jokes and bantering Arsenal has become such a thing that people want to keep the gimmick going because it's been a thing for the last 5 to 7 years that have been getting people views, and it's been their gimmick. So they want to keep it going. But when the team is good, when the team is performing well, they need to find another gimmick because they can't criticize the team. You've done everything you need to do. There's nothing you can criticize on the pitch. So they need to find external excuses. And what is the perfect external excuse? Oh, celebrating. Oh, they're complaining about this. Oh, there's something else going on. So at this moment in time, I expect this from Jamie Carragher, a Liverpool fan who said, don't forget, in December, before we went to Anfield, he said this Arsenal team has a young manager, inexperienced manager. They don't have killers in their team. They don't have experienced winners in their team. And right in front of his face, at the Emirates, he's watching his team crumble at the hands of this team. So what is he going to do? He's going to find any excuse to find a way to dig out Arsenal. And I expect you guys, rivals, any other pundit to dig us out. But you want to know something? As fans, we need to stay 10 toes down and back our thing. Because some people, they cowered away. They don't.
Radical.
I just got this horrible image of Egal curling his toes, bro. So that's in my head.
Hey, we gotta be scared of them. We gotta be scared of them, man. There, Ashburn.
Talking football. Now you guys want to make it something else.
Egal, I'll be real with you, bro. Listen, the respect that you want, unfortunately, you're not going to get it until you start winning trophies, like Husam said.
I don't disagree with that. I said that. That was the first thing I said, bro. What are we doing?
I'm just reiterating your point, innit? I get what you're saying. You're just not going to get that respect.
When we finally win, people are going to just say you haven't won enough. So I know how the game goes.
Oh yeah, we'll be there.
I always remember that. I nearly got into years back when Rooney hadn't scored at a World Cup. I was in this pub in London when he scored against Uruguay, and I celebrated. And I don't know who he was, said, "Hey, you should have scored in the previous ones," and it made me lose I lost it because it's my Rooney. So
the goalpost always moves, Terry, mate.
Yeah.
You don't get to chill.
Terry, look at Liverpool.
I was a little bit doing that. You know what I mean? I was a little bit lagged up. I was a little bit lagged up. I was talking. Sorry, mate. I just want to finish my story. Anyway, go on. Again, what did you say?
I was just going to say.
What was that, Don?
Perfect example is Liverpool. They didn't win the league for 30 years. They still get criticized because they only won one.
Yeah, I get you. This here says that Egal Saliba is not first choice in France.
That's a mistake, and he's going to find out soon.
Liverpool lost 3 points in the title race to no chance. Arsenal now technically behind City, and it's no biggie, no talk of bottling it. Well, Liverpool haven't bottled it. Liverpool haven't bottled it because Liverpool can still win the league. It's just made everything a lot closer. AJ here says this Liverpool team whooped Chelsea last week. We made them look bad. We played like this in the FA Cup and didn't finish our chances. That is very, very true. Very good in the FA Cup as well. Arsenal played better than Liverpool in the FA Cup as well. They just didn't take their chances, is what banter on the pitch says. AMT says, for me, they celebrated that way because for the first time in 9 seasons under Klopp, Arsenal beat Liverpool back-to-back in Premier League home games. That's crazy stat.
They haven't beaten us in 2 years in the Premier League.
The only thing I find disrespectful is the fist pumps from Arteta, but rather than celebrating like Arsenal did, is completely fine with me. Husam is the GOAT. Yeah, he did do the Klopp fist pumps. I did think that was, I thought it's funny, but
yeah,
that's,
what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that?
Shit housery, we love it. We love it.
Did he trademark it? What the hell?
Do you know what I'm saying, bro?
Best celebration ever was Patrice Evra in front of the Stretford end, right in front of Luis Suarez, all the way back when. I love that. I was there that day. It went off. That went off. That was a great day of footy.
And the reason for it as well was even more. So I loved it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know, they say they kick those things out of football.
Fun man, you, but big up Evra for that one.
They wore t-shirts. Listen, I want to thank everybody that's tuned in today. Egal, Konate, George, Rhino, Don, Husam, who jumped on, and Nina. Brilliant, fantastic debut on the terrace today. So I want to thank you very much for coming on.
Brentford scored.
Really?
What, Tony? Who's scored?
Husam, don't do this. I mean, Egal, don't do this.
You're lying. You're lying. You're lying.
I don't believe it.
Nah, they're lying.
On that note, let's knock it off, Terry. I want to go watch the game.
Until next time, thank you, my super chat. Everyone hit the like button. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I will see you all again very, very soon. Peace.